What if you could configure your entire enterprise network in minutes instead of days? Cisco's DNA Center is making this possible right now, but 89% of network engineers are still wasting hours on manual CLI configs. In this video, I'll show you how SD Access automates VLANs, security policies, and device provisioning with just a few clicks. The future of networking is here. Are you ready to upgrade? SD Access and DNA Center. An enterprise network can become quite complex. There's usually a headquarters, remote locations, people working remotely, and all of that. It's connected by WAN connections. Inside these buildings, there are many physical layer devices, such as routers, switches, firewalls, wireless LAN controllers, etc. There are also a lot of things in the logical topology. There are VLANs, VRFs, routing protocols, ACLs, firewall rules, and so on. And all of this is configured in principle, manually, with perhaps a little automation of the network to make our lives easier. In 2007 and 2008, SDN, Software-Defined Access, appeared with the aim of automating everything, and even getting rid of the CLI, replacing it with a single and centralized software, which is the Cisco DNA Center Digital Network Architecture, which we'll detail later in the course. But today, SDN is more about data centers and focuses mainly on applications. As corporate networks still use a lot of hardware devices, the idea would be to offer new services, as there are currently in data centers. For example, if we need a new firewall, well, it would be simpler if with just a few clicks, we could get a virtual ASA directly in our company. Well, that's one of the promises of the Cisco SD Access. That is to say, to give a complete automation of your corporate network, identical to what already works in the cloud. SD Access, SDA, Software-Defined Access, is an innovative solution that offers a fully automated and programmable network infrastructure, thus saving a lot of money. The principle is based on a programmable fabric, built on all the equipment of the company's network. The diagram shows us what an SDN topology looks like. There are 5 components: the fabric, the APIC-EM controller, ISE, Identity Services Engine, NDP, Network Data Platform, and the DNA Center. In the fabric, this is where you will find all the hardware components you are familiar with. That is, routers, switches, wireless LAN controllers, access points, etc. This includes all devices that run on iOS and iOS XE. To configure the devices of the fabric, APIs must be used. The CLI remains available for troubleshooting. The fabric contains 3 key components: the control plan, based on the Locator Identity Separator Protocol, LISP; the data plane, which is based on an extensible virtual LAN, VXLAN, Virtual Extensive LAN; and the policy, based on Cisco TrustSec, CTS. In the control plane, the Protocol Locator Identity Separator Protocol, LISP, simplifies routing by removing destination information from the routing table and moving it to a mapping system, very similar to the DNS, Domain Name System. That is, to find a destination address, the router will directly ask the LISP protocol mapping system. The router's routing tables are therefore smaller and require less CPU loads. The LISP protocol therefore makes it possible to tunnelize the traffic of Layer 3 in the control plane. For the data plane, which operates at Layer 2, SD Access technology uses VXLAN to support Layer 2 encapsulation and allows network policies to be created without mapping them to IP addresses or subnets. The APIC-EM controller is Cisco's SDN controller for enterprise networks and supports devices that run on iOS or iOS XE. It allows you to control all the peripherals of the structure, and it is controlled by the DNA Center. The DNA Center is the portal that allows you to manage the entire SD access topology. It is a hardware appliance that is usually located on the web. The idea is to offer a centralized interface for all operations, configuration, security, and analysis of the enterprise network, whether in the LAN, WLAN, or WAN. This makes network management easier, making it possible to speed up changes and respond more quickly to business needs. Remember our example with the programmer. The addition of equipment to the fabric is immediate, and the various modifications, whether security rules or groups, now take only a few minutes instead of several hours of study. In the DNA Center, we have 4 key attributes: the design, the policy, provision, and insurance. So, if you want to see what the DNA Center's GUI looks like, you can connect with Cisco's sandboxes at the address sandboxednac.cisco.com and use the DevNet user ID with the password Cisco10023. We will now detail the 4 attributes of the DNA Center. In the Design tab, this is where you design your entire network. You can building the network hierarchy, manage IP addresses, setting up the network, and manage all the iOS or iOS XE images of your devices all in one place. Policy. The policy is the policy that we configure on everything related to network policies. That is to say, all you have to do is create your own strategies, and the DNA Center takes care of translating them into configuration on all the hardware devices of the topology. In the Provisioning tab, this is where new devices are added to the network and network policies are applied to devices. Assurance. And the last tab is where one can monitor the entire network. It is possible to see an overview of all network devices, wireless clients, and applications. This allows you to monitor the health status and get an overview of all network problems. ISE, Identity Services Engine. To go back to the diagram at the beginning, on the left side, we to the ISE, Identity Services Engine, which is a solution for managing security and control policies across the entire network. The SDA fabric relies on ISE to segment the network and define user and device groups. And the NDP, Network Data Platform, a platform that allows the various analysis data to be translated and synthesized for the company. Everything that the NDP collects can be monitored through the DNA Center.